Hey guys, so today I wanted to tell a quick story about rejection. I don't know anybody that hasn't been rejected in their lives. I've been rejected several times, whether that's I didn't get a job or I didn't get picked for the kickball team. But today my story is about when I was young, and I had a crush on this guy, and as the title clearly states, it was not reciprocated. But let me just go ahead and jump into the video. So the story starts in 4th grade. I was in the same class as this guy, and I had a crush on him. I don't know when I developed a crush on him, and I really don't know the specifics of everything. I just remember that I liked this guy. I still know him. Well, I don't talk to him. I haven't talked to him in years, but he's friends with me on Facebook, all of that stuff. So he was a guy that I went to elementary school. We were in the same class. I liked him for whatever reason. I know he was kind of picked on a lot of times because he was kind of known to the other guys as being a little bit of a, to say it nicely, like kind of a little bit of a baby. I mean, I was definitely known as someone that cried a lot too. Maybe that's why I liked him, who knows. But for whatever reason, I really liked him, and that's when it developed. And we actually were in the same little, I guess it was kind of like a group, tiny little group for kids that had been through divorce or maybe a parent dying, and he was in that group with me. So I got to see him more often than some of the other kids in my class because we had this other thing that we would go to, and I just developed a crush on him. And I don't think it was until 5th grade that we were in the same class again that I started to actually like make little riddles or puzzles in order to try to tell him how I felt. And I did this a few other times in middle school. Maybe you're a guy that I had a brief crush on that I did this to in middle school, but in 5th grade I think it really started with this guy. I don't remember what it was. It was like probably like some type of word search, fill in the blank thing. I tried to make it elaborate. I tried to relate to him because I know he has like some type of illness or something, and I was like, oh, I have something too, but really I don't. It's like, I don't know why I did that, but anyways, I know that I did that sort of in 5th grade. Don't remember super big details, just that I really had a crush on him. And I think even, which this is again really weird, but I was 11, so I feel like I kind of have liberty in this, or I don't know if that's even the word, but I can get away with this. So I used to be really obsessed with Sims. I've played all of the Sims. I even have like the Sims 4, but at the time I think Sims 1 was still, it was either Sims 1 or Sims 2, and I definitely made a family with him as my boyfriend or husband, which again, I think this guy knows who, well, he definitely knows who he is. I don't know if he's even gonna watch this, but yeah, so that happened. Anyways, going into 6th grade, I still liked him. So granted, I liked him from the beginning of 4th grade. Henry, are you eating the cat food? Oh, there's no cat food in there. We're good. And so that's kind of a long time, especially for someone that's like 10 or 11, 9, 10 or 11, 12. It's a long time to like someone. And so going into 6th grade, I still liked him, but sadly we were not in the same class. And the way my middle school worked, my middle school was from 6th to 8th grade, and every year, I don't really know about the 8th grade because I was switched to a different middle school in 8th grade, but anyways, we were in different teams, and I think I was on team A, he was on team B, and I knew this mutual friend that we had, and somehow she was in some of my classes even though she was on his team. Or maybe she wasn't, but somehow she knew him, and so I kind of used her as my liaison to him, and I would tell her, okay, so can you tell him, like, can you ask him if he likes me, or can you tell him that, like, I want to go out with him or something. And typically this would consist of yes, no, maybe, little notes. And if you don't know what this is, it's basically, I did this a lot in middle school, or at least I saw it a lot. We played games like Oreo, I don't even know if you guys know what that is, or we'd use the little fortune tellers, the little paper fortune tellers. But this was specifically just a piece of paper with, people got creative with it, but it would say, will you go out with me? Yes, no, maybe. Or do you like me? Yes, no, maybe. And I was about to say her name. Well, I don't think she really cares. Her name was Gina, and she would hand out that note whenever I would deliver it to her or whatever. She was basically the messenger in this, and that kind of went out throughout the year. And she would always get the note back saying maybe. It would never say no, and it would never say yes. So this gave me a bit of hope, and as someone, I appreciate when someone says no. If someone says no, I'll move on. There's been one time where, which I haven't talked about this before, but it was kind of a no, but it wasn't really a no. It was more like, I don't know. Anyways, that's beside the point. That's not the same thing. But yeah, so he was just kind of saying maybe, 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 and I really liked him, and I was like, even though I had crushes on other guys, little mini crushes that would last like a week or a day or whatever, he was like my long-term crush that I had, and I really just, I guess, wanted to date him. And dating at my school, at least in 6th grade, was maybe holding hands in the hallway. I don't even know if people did that, but they would just kind of walk around and say they were dating and maybe kiss, I don't know. And it wouldn't even be like making out, it would be like a kiss on the lips, I don't know. Maybe a kiss on the cheek. But anyways, so this would go out, this went on through the whole year, and I know he ended up dating this one girl that was considered a bad girl at our middle school at the time. She seems like a great person now, but at the time she was considered, I don't even know if she did anything bad, but she was kind of maybe dressed a little bit more provocatively than the other middle schoolers, and was known as being a little defiant or whatever. And I was like, how could he date her? Like, oh my gosh, how is he dating her? And so anytime I would see them together, I was like, I felt very jealous, and I was like, Anyways, they ended up breaking up. I don't know when, and I don't know why. Sometime throughout the year, and that's when I started maybe sending the notes more. And I remember specifically on Valentine's Day, I sent another yes, no, maybe note, and it probably was a heart or something, and I just like ran up to him. This was before school, and a lot of the 6th graders wouldn't be sitting in the bleachers, they would actually be sitting on the gym floor, and we were kind of separated in our little friend groups, and I like ran up to him and gave him my little note for him. And of course, later on he circles maybe. So flash forward to the last day of school. I remember this vividly, at least the last class that I had. I remember I was in computer class, one of my friends, or a couple of my friends I was, friends with, and somehow I knew that he passed in the hallway after my class. I didn't know what class he was coming from or anything. I just knew that when we were let out via the bell, we would see each other. So I planned it so that on the last day of school, I was like, okay, this is going to be my final note. And I wrote him the same kind of yes, no, maybe note. I saw him in the hallway. I probably was like speed walking or kind of running, and I gave him the note and then just like went off. And then as I was exiting the building, I was walking out, just now walking out, he comes running past me and he hands me the note. And of course the note says no. He circled no. And in that moment, I've had this kind of thing happen a few times, and this was one of the first times that I really remember it happening. But time stopped in that moment, and I was very reflective in that split second, and I just ripped up the note, threw it in the trash, and walked to my bus. And after that day, I didn't like him anymore, and in fact, I felt freed. Even though it wasn't like he did anything mean, and it was just like a silly little crush, I felt like, okay, so I actually have closure. He doesn't like me, and that's fine. And so I moved on. I remember the next year in 7th grade, a few of the 7th graders who were fortunate enough to go on this trip. I was one of those people. We went to Washington, D.C. He was also on that trip. And I remember at first I feel like he was a little hesitant because he probably thought I still liked him, but I didn't, and it ended up being a really fun trip, and I felt nothing for him. I mean, I thought that he was still like a sweet guy and stuff, but didn't faze me. And really after that day that I ripped up that note, I just kind of moved on, which I think that's something I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, my little 11, 12-year-old self, to take rejection in such a direct way and be able to move on with grace. And I know in my more adult life, I have faced rejection from guys, not very often anymore. Typically I'm the one now, but I also learned, and this was kind of a lesson that I had to learn in other ways as well, that kind of the reverse situation. I never want to be that person that's leading someone on to lead them to believe that I would date them. I don't want to be that maybe person when it comes to those kind of things, because I know how I felt. And maybe he just didn't want to hurt my feelings, or maybe he liked the drama of it all, who knows. Maybe it was a little bit of both. But I really appreciated at the end that he told me no, but I wish it was kind of told a little bit earlier. But that's beside the point. I look back on it now, and this is probably why I can't really remember too specific of details, but I look at him now, and I mean, no offense, but I wouldn't, there's no way, I mean, not in a mean way, but he's not anything that I'm looking for now. Maybe if I hypothetically dated him at the time, maybe I would have still liked him now, but we're completely different than what we were at the time. That was over 10 years ago. Closer to 12, 13 years ago. So it's interesting how time does heal things, and in that moment I didn't really need healing from that, but it's funny how you can like someone and then not like them again. I haven't said the story of the unrequited love part B yet. I'm saving that for a little bit later because I don't want to hurt anybody from that video. But one thing that I did, or I don't think I would hurt anybody, but I don't want anybody to get like hard feelings, but the guy that video will be about, I don't like him at all anymore, and that surprised me because I liked him for a while, and then I don't anymore. I was able to completely get over it, and it's interesting how time does heal. So that being said, if you are in a situation where you like someone and they're not reciprocating, I think it's commendable to hold off like me and like someone for that extended period of time. But at the same time, especially at my age, I'm 24, almost 25, I'll be 25 in less than a month. This is my birthday month, July. If someone wants to be in your life, they'll make it happen. They're going to be in your life. So don't make excuses for that person. Again, nobody's perfect, but if they're not reciprocating, don't make excuses and move on. And like I said, one day I will make that unrequited love part B story, but that will probably be a little bit more in the future. But I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in my next video. And let me know in the comments below what stories you have, or if you're still in the midst of some type of crush or unrequited love. And also let me know if you guys, what kind of funny games you guys did in elementary school or middle school or maybe high school that were asking crushes whether you would go out with them or you liked them or something. So yeah, I will see you guys soon, and I hope you are having an incredible day. Bye.